Buckle up, because we're diving into the most jaw-dropping, heart-pounding update on NASA's lunar ambitions yet. A saga so electrifying, it'll leave you glued to your screen, questioning everything you thought you knew about humanity's return to the moon. This isn't just another space story. It's a roller coaster of shocking revelations, emotional highs, and stakes so high they could redefine our place in the cosmos. Picture this: a world where the moon isn't just a distant dream, but a battleground for supremacy, a canvas for dreams, and a stepping stone to the stars. We're peeling back the curtain on NASA's latest moves, and trust me, you're not ready for what's coming. Let's set the stage. The year is 2025, and the race to the moon is hotter than ever. Decades ago, humanity took its first steps on that dusty grey surface, a moment etched in history with words that still echo: one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. But that was then. Today, the moon is no longer just a symbol of triumph. It's a geopolitical chessboard, a scientific goldmine, and a proving ground for technologies that could send us to Mars and beyond. NASA, the agency that once captivated the world, is back in the spotlight. But this time, it's not just about planting flags. It's about survival, legacy, and a future where humanity doesn't just visit the moon, but lives there. And the latest update? It's nothing short of seismic. Imagine the scene: a sleek spacecraft, gleaming under the harsh lunar sun, touches down near a crater so ancient it holds secrets older than Earth itself. This isn't science fiction. It's the reality NASA is chasing with its Artemis program, a bold plan to return humans to the moon and establish a permanent presence. But here's where it gets wild. The agency isn't going it alone. They've teamed up with private companies, international partners, and some of the brightest minds in the world to make this happen. And just when you thought things couldn't get more intense, a bombshell drops. Two American companies have just pulled off lunar landings, rewriting the playbook on space exploration. This is the kind of news that makes your heart race and your mind reel. Let's talk about those landings, because they're the spark that's ignited this whole frenzy. Earlier this year, a Texas-based company sent a robotic lander to the moon's Mare Crisium region, a vast, dark plain that's been whispering mysteries for eons. The mission was a triumph, capturing images so crisp, they make you feel like you're standing on the lunar surface yourself. But it wasn't just about pretty pictures. This lander carried instruments to study the moon's soil, its magnetic field, and even the faint wisps of atmosphere that cling to its surface. Every byte of data is a piece of the puzzle, helping scientists understand how we can live and work on the moon. And the kicker: this wasn't NASA's lander. It was built by a private company, funded through a program that's turning the space industry upside down. Then, just days later, another company from Houston made headlines with a second landing, this time near the moon's south pole. This region is a game changer, folks. It's home to craters so deep they're cloaked in eternal shadow, hiding deposits of water ice that could be the key to sustaining life. The lander, a towering robotic beast, was supposed to drill into the lunar soil and deploy tiny rovers to scout the terrain. But here's the gut punch. Something went wrong. The spacecraft touched down, but it's not standing tall. It might be tilted, or worse, toppled over. The mission team is scrambling to figure out what happened, but the uncertainty is agonizing. Can you imagine the tension in that control room? Engineers and scientists, hearts in their throats, waiting for a signal that could make or break years of work. This is the raw, unfiltered drama of space exploration, and it's unfolding right now. These missions are part of NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services program, a radical shift in how we explore space. Instead of building every spacecraft in-house, NASA is hiring private companies to deliver science to the moon. It's like outsourcing the future, and it's paying off in ways no one expected. These companies aren't just contractors. They're pioneers taking risks that could reshape the industry. The first landing was a flawless victory, proving that private enterprise can play in the big leagues. The second, a stark reminder that the moon doesn't play nice. Every mission is a gamble, and the stakes couldn't be higher. If these companies succeed, they'll pave the way for astronauts to follow. If they fail, the dream of a lunar base could slip through our fingers. Now let's zoom out and talk about why this matters. The moon isn't just a rock in the sky, it's a gateway. Water ice in those polar craters could be turned into drinking water, breathable air, even rocket fuel. Imagine a lunar gas station, refueling spacecraft for journeys to Mars or the asteroid belt. The moon's low gravity makes it a perfect launch pad, and its resources could spark an economy in space. But it's not just about practicality. The moon is a symbol, a beacon of what humanity can achieve when we dare to dream big. Every step we take, there is a step toward a future where we're not bound to Earth, where our children could grow up under alien skies. That's the kind of vision that makes your chest tighten and your eyes sting. But here's the shocking twist. We're not the only ones eyeing the moon. Other nations are in the race, and they're not slowing down. Some have already landed rovers and probes, and their ambitions are growing. There's talk of permanent bases, resource mining, even territorial claims. The moon could become a flashpoint, a place where earthly rivalries spill into space. NASA knows this, and it's why they're pushing so hard. The Artemis program isn't just about science. It's about securing a foothold before someone else does. The thought of another flag dominating the lunar landscape is a wake-up call, a reminder that we can't afford to stumble. This isn't just a space race, it's a space showdown, and the clock is ticking. Let's get emotional for a moment, because this story isn't just about machines and missions, it's about people. Think about the astronauts training for Artemis, men and women who've dedicated their lives to this dream. They're not superheroes, they're humans with families, fears, and hopes. Imagine the weight on their shoulders, knowing they'll be the first to walk on the moon in over half a century. Picture them suiting up, their hearts pounding as they board a rocket that could carry them to history or to disaster. And then there's the ground crew, the unsung heroes who pour their souls into every bolt, every line of code. When that lander went silent, you can bet there were tears in the control room, not just for the mission, but for the dream it represents. This is what makes space exploration so gripping. It's a human story, raw and real. Now let's talk about the tech, because it's mind-blowing. The Artemis program hinges on a rocket so powerful, it makes the Apollo-era Saturn V look like a firecracker. This beast can hurl astronauts, cargo, and dreams into deep space. Then there's the spacecraft, a marvel of engineering designed to keep humans alive in the harshest environment imaginable. It's not just a capsule, it's a lifeline, packed with systems to recycle air, filter water, and shield against cosmic rays. And the landers? They're being built by private companies, each with their own vision of what a lunar taxi should be. Some are sleek and robotic, others are rugged, designed to carry humans to the surface and back. The competition is fierce, and the innovation is relentless. Every failure is a lesson, every success a leap forward. But here's where it gets downright thrilling. The moon's south pole, where these missions are headed, is unlike anything we've explored before. During the Apollo missions, astronauts landed in the moon's equatorial regions, where the terrain was relatively flat and predictable. The South Pole is a different beast. It's a land of extremes, with towering peaks bathed in near-constant sunlight and craters so deep they've never seen the sun. Those shadowed regions are colder than Pluto, preserving ice that could hold clues to the solar system's origins. Navigating this terrain is like threading a needle in a hurricane, and the science we could uncover is worth every ounce of effort. We're talking about unlocking the moon's history, Earth's history, maybe even the history of life itself. Let's not sugarcoat it, though. The challenges are brutal. Landing on the moon is still one of the hardest things we do. There's no atmosphere to slow a spacecraft down, so you're relying on thrusters to brake from thousands of miles an hour to a gentle touchdown. One miscalculation, one glitch, and you're a crater. The South Pole's rugged terrain only makes it tougher, with boulders, slopes, and shadows that can hide deadly pitfalls. And then there's the dust. Lunar regolith is like tiny shards of glass, clinging to everything and wreaking havoc on equipment. The team behind that second lander is grappling with these realities right now, and their struggle is a stark reminder of how unforgiving space can be. Yet despite the risks, the momentum is unstoppable. NASA's Artemis program is more than just a series of missions. It's a vision for the future. The plan is to build a lunar outpost, a place where astronauts can live and work for weeks or even months. Picture a cluster of habitats, powered by solar arrays, with rovers zipping across the surface and labs buzzing with experiments. This isn't a one-off stunt. It's the foundation for a new era of exploration. The Gateway, a space station orbiting the moon, will serve as a staging point, a cosmic way station where crews can transfer to landers or refuel for deeper space. It's the kind of ambition that makes you want to stand up and cheer, because this is humanity at its best, bold, curious, and unafraid. Let's talk about the global stage, because this isn't just America's story. The Artemis Accords, a set of principles for lunar exploration, have been signed by dozens of nations, from Canada to Japan to Liechtenstein. Yes, even tiny Liechtenstein is in on this, proving that space is a dream for everyone. These accords lay out rules for sharing data, protecting heritage sites like the Apollo landing zones, and ensuring that resources are used responsibly. It's a rare moment of unity in a fractured world, a reminder that the moon belongs to all of us. But not everyone's on board. Some nations are forging their own paths, and the competition is fierce. The fear of falling behind is palpable, and it's driving NASA to move faster, think bigger, and take risks that would have been unthinkable a decade ago. Now, here's a moment to pause and feel the weight of it all. 56 years ago, the Apollo 11 crew, three brave souls, captured the world's imagination. An estimated 650 million people watched as the first human stepped onto the moon, a number that dwarfs even the biggest Super Bowl audience. That broadcast was a technological miracle, beamed across continents by a network of tracking stations in Australia, California, and beyond. The grainy, black and white images, the crackle of voices from 240,000 miles away. It was raw, unpolished, and utterly unforgettable. Today, we're on the cusp of recreating that magic, but with a twist. This time, the cameras will be high def, the stakes will be global, and the audience will be you, me, and billions of others watching on screens, big and small. Can you feel the anticipation building? Let's dive into the science, because it's absolutely thrilling. The moon is a time capsule, its surface untouched by wind or water for billions of years. Every crater, every rock tells a story of cosmic collisions, solar flares, and the birth of our planet. The South Pole, with its ice and ancient rocks, could hold answers to questions we haven't even thought to ask. Are there traces of water delivered by comets? Could the moon's soil contain rare elements that power our future? And what about life? Some scientists think the ice in those shadowed craters might preserve organic molecules, hints of life's building blocks. Every sample we collect, every experiment we run, brings us closer to understanding our place in the universe. It's the kind of science that makes your brain hurt and your heart soar. But it's not just about the moon. Everything we learn there will help us reach Mars. The technologies we're testing, landers, habitats, life support systems, are the same ones we'll need to survive on the red planet. The moon is our proving ground, a place to make mistakes and master the art of living off-world. And the lessons go beyond tech. How do you keep a crew sane during months in a confined space? How do you manage resources when there's no resupply? These are human challenges, and solving them will make us better stewards of our own planet. The moon is teaching us to think long-term, to plan for a future where Earth isn't our only home. That's a legacy worth fighting for. Let's get real about the emotions at play here. Space exploration isn't just about data and hardware. It's about hope. It's about looking up at the night sky and knowing that we're not stuck, that we can reach for something bigger. When that first lander touched down, social media exploded with reactions. People sharing photos of the moon, kids drawing spaceships, grandparents reminiscing about Apollo. It's a reminder that space unites us, cutting through the noise of politics and division. And when things go wrong, like that second lander's uncertain fate, it hurts. It's not just a machine, it's a piece of our collective dream. But here's the thing. Every setback makes the victories sweeter. Every failure fuels our resolve. That's the heartbeat of this story. Now let's talk about the future, because it's coming fast. NASA's Artemis II mission, set to carry astronauts around the moon, is just around the corner. It'll be the first crewed flight since Apollo, a test of the rocket, the spacecraft, and the courage of those on board. Artemis III will follow, aiming to land humans on the surface, potentially the first woman and the first person of color to walk on the moon. Imagine that moment, broadcast to billions, a new generation's one small step. The South Pole's treacherous terrain will test every ounce of skill and tech, but the payoff is worth it. A successful landing could unlock the resources and knowledge we need to build a lunar SPLICE, a stepping stone to Mars, and a testament to what we can achieve when we work together. But the road ahead is fraught with peril. Budgets are tight, and priorities are shifting. Some fear that science missions, like studying Venus or returning samples from Mars, could take a back seat to human exploration. Others worry about the environmental impact of lunar mining or the ethics of claiming resources in space. And then there's the human cost. Astronauts face radiation, isolation, and the ever-present risk of catastrophe. The teams on the ground live with the stress of knowing that a single error could end a mission. Yet despite these challenges, the drive to explore burns bright. It's in our DNA, a spark that's carried us from caves to continents to the stars. Let's paint a picture of what success looks like. Imagine a lunar base, glowing softly against the black of space. Astronauts move through pressurized habitats, tending to experiments and preparing for the next mission. Outside, rovers carve paths through the dust, collecting samples and mapping the terrain. In orbit, the gateway hums with activity, a hub for crews and cargo. This isn't a distant fantasy. It's a plan, with contracts signed, hardware built, and nations aligned. The first steps are already happening, with robotic missions laying the groundwork. Every success brings us closer to a world where the moon is a second home, a place where we learn, grow, and dream. Now here's a twist that'll make your jaw drop. The moon could change life on Earth. The technologies we're developing, solar power, water recycling, advanced robotics, have applications right here. Lunar mining could yield rare elements for clean energy. Microgravity research could lead to breakthroughs in medicine. And the economic ripple effects? Massive. The space industry is already creating jobs, from engineers to coders to communicators. A thriving lunar economy could spark a new era of prosperity, proving that reaching for the stars lifts us all. But it's not just about money. The moon inspires us, reminding us that no challenge is too big, no dream too wild. That's the kind of hope we need right now. Let's zoom in on the human element again, because it's what makes this story sing. Picture a young girl in a small town, staring at the moon through a telescope her parents saved to buy. She's watching these missions unfold, dreaming of being an astronaut, a scientist, a leader, or a teacher in a crowded classroom using NASA's free resources to show his students how math and science can change the world. Or an engineer working late to perfect a rover's wheel, knowing her work could touch another world. These are the people who make this possible, and their stories are woven into every mission. When we cheer for a landing, we're cheering for them, for their grit, their passion, their belief in a better tomorrow. But we can't ignore the shadows. The moon is a harsh mistress, as the saying goes, and she doesn't give up her secrets easily. The South Pole's ice is a prize, but extracting it is a nightmare. Drills clog, equipment freezes, and the lack of sunlight means relying on nuclear power or massive batteries. Communication is another hurdle. Signals take seconds to travel between Earth and the moon, and lag can be deadly in a crisis. And then there's the psychological toll. Living in a confined habitat, far from home, with the void of space outside your window. It's not for the faint of heart. NASA's studying these challenges, drawing on decades of experience from the International Space Station, but there's still so much we don't know. Let's talk about the global impact, because this is bigger than one nation. The Artemis program is a beacon of cooperation, with countries pooling resources and expertise. Canada's building a robotic arm for the Gateway. Japan's contributing to lunar rovers. Europe's providing propulsion modules. Even smaller nations are pitching in. From Australia's tracking stations to Luxembourg's experiments in space mining. This isn't just about flags. It's about building a future where space is a shared frontier. But the competition looms large. Other powers are advancing, and their successes are a spur to action. The fear of being outpaced is real, and it's driving innovation at a breakneck pace. This is the kind of rivalry that pushes us to be better, to do more, to reach higher. Now let's get visceral. Imagine you're an astronaut, strapped into a lander as it begins its descent. The moon's surface rushes up, a jagged landscape of craters and cliffs. Your heart's pounding, but you're trained for this. The thrusters fire, kicking up clouds of dust that obscure your view. The computer's calling out altitudes, but you're ready to take manual control if needed. Seconds tick by, each one an eternity. Then, contact. The lander settles, and for a moment, there's silence. You've done it. You're on the moon. That rush, that mix of terror and triumph, is what drives this mission. It's what makes every late night, every failed test, every heartbreak worth it. And when you step outside, the Earth hanging in the sky like a blue marble, you know you're part of something eternal. But the story's not over. Back on Earth, the teams are wrestling with that second lander's fate. Images from orbit might reveal its position, but until then, it's a waiting game. The data it's sending back is spotty, and the solar panels aren't soaking up as much sun as they should. The mission's goals, drilling for ice, deploying rovers, testing a hopping drone, hang in the balance. Yet, even if it's a partial success, it's a step forward. The first lander proved we can do this. The second reminds us how hard it is. Together, they're a testament to resilience, to the refusal to give up even when the odds are stacked against you. That's the spirit of exploration, and it's alive and well. Let's talk legacy, because this is about more than the present. The Apollo program inspired a generation. Kids who watched those grainy broadcasts grew up to be engineers, scientists, dreamers. Artemis is doing the same. NASA's outreach is massive, from live streams that rack up millions of views to STEM programs that reach schools worldwide. Social media's buzzing with moon fever, with hashtags trending and creators sharing their own takes. The agency's even partnered with museums, sports leagues, and brands to spread the word. This isn't just about landing on the moon, it's about igniting a spark in every person who hears this story. It's about showing that we're capable of greatness, even in tough times. Now, here's a gut-wrenching truth. Space exploration is fragile. Budget cuts loom like storm clouds, threatening